there. The stream has been stopped for some reason. As you see Lazo go up to 4th place on the grid there. We see Lazo slowing down to allow Chubb to go past him. He hasn't validated his lap. We have Fujitsu as the next car on track, so we will follow him round as he goes round the lap here to see what he can do. So, as we come down to 1 minute 43 left in the session, we will see the rest of the drivers start to probably make their way on the track. We shall see. Tin Can looks like it's currently going, just starting a lap, as the other 3 exit the pits now for all 10 to be on track for their last flying lap of the session. I do apologise to anyone that was in the last stream there, not too sure what has happened. YouTube has just booted us off the stream. Thankfully got it set up pretty quickly again there and got us going. One thing is just venture onto the grass there. That is not going to help his chances at all of getting further up towards that pole position slot. So it's not, as he does gear up to have another go on it, he won't have time to put new tyres on, so he will just have to go on these current ones. Right on board with Tin Can now for the second attempt at a flying lap to see if he can get any nearer Lattice in pole. We have a Dutch face retiring from the session, must have been confident he'd go any quicker, and Fujitsu in the pit, so he will not get out again. So Fujitsu will be starting this race in 10th place. They keep running on board with Tin Can. He does get a purple middle sector. This could be close. Depends how well his last and first sectors have been. He does cross line 101.30, and that maybe guarantees Lattice pole. Here comes Lattice around the last 2 corners now. Can he improve on that 102.755? He comes up the finish straight across the line. He does. It's a 102.540, and that is bound to be pole for Lattice today. So far we've Lattice in pole and XL in second, knocking out the front row. Can Lazo improve? He cannot. He's invalidated that lap, so we will have an all Mercedes second row of the grid as well. And that is us for qualifying here. We'll just wait for the session to end here once Tommy gets pushed into the pits. So as we round out qualifying, Lallis does take pole with a 1:02.540, a full half a second clear of everyone else. Tin Can's in on second. We have an almost 82nd row of Johnny and Chubb. On the third row we have Scotty in the AlphaTauri and Lazo in the Renault. On the fourth row we then have Alex and Tommy, Alex in the William, Tommy in the Haas. And then rounding out the fifth row and the last of the top 10 we have Dutchface in the Ferrari and Hugisio in the McLaren. So as we just wait for the drivers to ready up and set their strategy for the race here, so we do. It is, I think James is quite interested as to where he's going to start. That will be interesting to see, with him obviously not being put through in quali, even though he got through. It'll be interesting to see where the game decides to place him on the grid. So as we get ready to start the formation lap here, then we will see. So it has actually put James all right down the back of the grid in 20th. I'm not too sure what has happened there and why that has happened. We'll run through the whole grid. So we've Lana starting in first on pole, and on the second row with him we've Tin Can. In the first row with him we have Tin Can. We're just going to see what tires everyone is starting the race on. So yes, top 10 all on soft. So Lallis and Tin Can on the front row with an all Mercedes second row of Johnny and Chubb. Scotty and Lazo bring up the third row with Alex and Tommy on the fourth. Then rounding out the fifth row in the top 10 we have Dutchface and Hugisio. And in the first of the free tire choice we have Erez on the mediums on 11th, with Alajuthwe alongside also on the medium tire. Then we then have Ali on the medium and Card on the medium just behind them. 15th place we Rob going on the soft tire, looking to maybe be aggressive and make up a few places off the start. 17th on alongside 17th then we have Motsi Perez also on the soft tire. Bruco in 18th, Willie in 19th and James in 20th, all on the soft tire. And we can see at the bottom the pit stop strategy starting to appear there to tell us what these guys are likely to do. It is a one-stop race, whether you're really starting on the mediums or the softs. You can go through it in a one-stop. It will just be a case of, do the drivers prefer a 2 or a 1? I'll just get ourselves set up here to see position changes off the start and bring you the action from the first lap here. I don't think James is too happy about the position there, but unfortunately nothing we can do about that. The game has chosen to do that. I'm not too sure why. As they take their places on the grid, we'll just switch to James to see when he is in place and ready to go. He just comes across now. Oh, he's actually going to be blocked by the board. That's a bit annoying. Right. So I think everyone is now in place. As the lights begin to come on, we've 1, 2, 3, 4, we have 5 lights here, and away they go, and it does appear to be a pretty even getaway. Lattis gets away quite well there in front as they go into turn 1, and he does keep that first position there with follow through by Tin Can. Mercedes going side by side. Can't see there being any contact there so far according to the map. Everyone appears to have gotten through cleanly and away as they climb the hill. Lattis has got a clean getaway there and does not appear to be getting pushed there at all. We'll just swap down the pack a wee bit to see what's going on in the middle here. We do have 3 cars side by side there as they come down the hill. It's a Ferrari, a Williams and a Haas. Let's switch to those 3. Alex trying to go around the outside of the Haas of Tommy here, but Tommy does defend that quite well. There's a lot allowing Dutch Face to come back at Alex as they come down the hill here. Let's see how things are going down the back of the grid. We do have William Mammoth appear to be struggling a little bit. However, it is his first race in the league, and I think he is just here to fill the grid and do the best he can. As with Rob just in front of him. Not a great start for the AlphaTauris down there at the back, running in 19th and 20th as Lattice crosses the line to start lap 2 with I'd still be in the first place, and the top 4 have not changed. It is still Lattice followed. Well, the position thing down the left there is messed up. It does still appear to be Tin Can that is following Lattice there. I'm not too sure what's going on with that down the side of the screen there. I think we'll just have to ignore that for a while. But it is still Lattice, Tin Can, Chubb and Johnny leading this race in the top 4. But the top 2 do appear to be opening up that little gap to the Mercedes, and then there's the 2 Mercedes and Scotty open up that little gap to the rest of the pack behind. It was James Oil that gets himself up from 20th all the way up to 12th place. 11th now, he's getting 9 positions within the opening 3 laps. That is a very good start for James there. So he's almost within the points already. We'll go right on board with him to see how he's doing in that fight. He is right behind 10th place. Will we see him getting into the points within the top 5, first 4 or 5 laps? That would be good for him. We'll just ride on board for a period of time here to see what happens. Some blue flags showing there. I don't think anyone's being lapped yet, unless someone has had to be in the pits, which I don't think they have. Here we have James coming up on Erez. He goes side by side up the hill. He'll have to run this around the outside. I think Erez will stick with him. He will. James running around the outside, leaves plenty of room there and does get the pass completed and takes that 10th position and into the points already. Very strong start for James there in this race. We have a McLaren in the pits. I'm not too sure if there's been damage or contact there. However, he has pitted nice and early in the race and put on the soft tyre, so it's not going to be a long stint. So it isn't. We shall change this now to see the gaps between the drivers now, shall we? See who is the closest to each other. We have Perez. We have a nice wee 3-car battle going on here. At least, well, more than 3 cars actually over that 11th spot. Nice wee train of cars. However, let's go and spectate the battle for that 3rd position, with Chum currently holding that 3rd position, being chased down by his teammate Johnny and then Scotty in the AlphaTauri. Long races, 36 laps, so we have already completed 4. It is quite a short lap, only about 1:07 to 1:10 seconds long, so it's quite a short lap, so we will get through them quite quickly as we see a battle going on down here in 11th and 12th. We'll just ride on board with that as we can see if any changes are going to happen around here. Lourdes Hudson Lewis and Willie start to slowly fall off the pack. Lewis has had a bit of a spin by the looks of it, I think. We'll go right on board with him to see if he's having a few issues there at all. Nothing too serious. He does appear just to be getting to grips with the whole no assist at all and no racing line. I know he has been trying to do that over the recent weeks, but this is his first full race, I think, with absolutely nothing, so it probably will take him a while to get the grips for that. So, well, we have Avi passing Dutch Face there for 8th and 9th place. A nice little battle going on here between all the mid-pack runners. We'll just script down and see if anything is happening here at all. Bit of a lock-up there for Perez, but he has held the apex quite nicely and got himself round the corner, not losing too much time. So we are going to see a battle between Woolley and Brooker right down the back of the grid. This could be interesting. We'll see if Woolley can defend or if Brooker can run. A lock up from Woolley. Brooker goes deep. I'm not sure if that was intentional or to avoid contact. Oh, a spin from Woolley, and he hits the wall. He has managed to stay in the race and will just make his way around and keep going, I think. Yes, he will. Not having the best race, but obviously there's not a lot you can do. He is trying his best, and we'll see what he can do. A few penalties being handed out there. Lazo has had one, Era has had one, and GC has had one already. Austria is one of those tracks that can be quite bad for penalties, and he just moves out of the way. They allow the leaders to go through. Still holding just over a 1 second gap there, Lattice on Exhale Tin Can, just keeping him out of that DRS range and hoping maybe not pushing that car too hard. He still has 43% battery. He has been using the battery, but so has Tin Can. He's been using a lot more. He only has 22% left. So he has. So Lattice has been using less battery than Tin Can there to stay just outside that DRS. As we have Johnny closing in on Chubb here with the DRS wide open. We'll see if he can do anything. Scotty is also behind these two. We'll see if Scotty can get the double toe up the hill. DRS wide open. No ERS being used. He does being really happy just to use the DRS to keep up for the time being. And he does close up quite nicely in the braking zone. It's quite a nice exit. Will we see an attempt near the end of this at all? No, Scotty appears just to be happy to be sitting just in 5th place behind these two for now, letting the two Mercedes battle it out just ahead of him. As we are seeing quite an intense battle here over the last point spot between Ered and Hujisio. As he just takes, let's get a view on board from the racing point just behind. It takes the inside line from the McLaren. However, is Ered's going to be able to fight back? And I don't think so now. I think the McLaren has completed that move and takes that 10th and final point spot. We shall see now who has been the biggest position, or the fastest lap currently is sitting with Tin Can, just a 106.170. Just 300ths faster than Lattice there in the lead of this race. Let's see now if we get the position change up. The biggest losers and gainers. Dutchface had lost a lot, having himself down there in 18th place. He's lost 9 positions since the start. However, you also have James who's picked up 11, so he has had a very strong start to this race. We're going to see this three-way battle turn into anything more as they come up the hill, as the Red Bull goes alongside the McLaren. I think he will get that move completed this time. Yes, he does, as they head down the hill now. Can the Racing Point take the McLaren as well? He is gaining quite quickly here as they go into the braking zone. Will he attempt to move down the inside? No, the McLaren does run that quite nicely around the outside to protect his 11th place. Now we have seen a change up the front with Scotty managing to get past Johnny Stokes. I'm not too sure where that was on track. However, he will now have to defend quite heavily from Johnny, who is coming behind him now. Another penalty. A lot of people getting penalties. Tin Can has one in 2nd place there. He's starting just to drop off Lattice, so he bent the gap open right to 2.6 seconds. I don't know if that's due to on battery loss or not. We will switch now to see if he is having to run without any battery or what. He has 30% of it left, whereas Lattice has 60, so I think it is just a case of Lattice is able to use that bit more battery power around the lap to allow him just to stay clear of Tin Can and slowly open the gap up, giving him a strong position in this race. When I've seen William Mammoth DNF, I didn't see that happen, so I'm assuming it's been in the pits DNF. I'm not too sure though. There's nothing in the chat there, so I don't see any incident or anything. However, Tin Can has now pitted from second place in this race, so that does promote the Chubb up to second and Scotty at the third. We have to switch on board the Tin Can, or following Tin Can, to see where he can re-emerge in this race. He's making his way down the pit. I think he will beat his teammate Lazo out quite comfortably and just keep himself in 8th place there. With Scotty and Chubb having a battle for second on track. However, Chubb does appear to have come out of that, and Johnny Stokes is trying to take advantage of that now. Can he take third back off Scotty? We shall see as they run down. We'll go to the side camera to see if Johnny is on the inside through the corner. Nice clean manoeuvre there, and Scotty just runs around the outside to keep third place off the Mercedes driver. Well, now I start to see the pit time strategy coming in. When will they decide to pit and who will go first? Tin Can has made the first move in the battle for the lead, pitting nice and early. We shall see actually what tyres they have going on. He is going on a hard tyre, so that may take him to the end of this race. Be interesting to see will Lattice follow that strategy, or will Lattice choose to maybe use the medium tyre and try and make it last a bit longer? We have had Lazo has pitted. We have James now. He's made his way up to 6th from back of the grid in 11 laps. He's having quite a strong race now, and is the front runner of the guys which started on that harder tyre, and is probably going a bit longer into this race. To see if there's any other battles emerging here on track. There's nobody actually that close. The only person within a second is the Racing Point, within a second of Tommy, just in front. But apart from that, there's nobody really that close on track. Rob is closing in on the McLaren here actually, as Johnny Stokes hits the pits as well on those soft tyres to switch to the mediums. Now that'll be interesting. Will he get to the end on those? As Rob picks up the 3-second time penalty just there for track limits. This will be interesting as they come down the start-finish straight with the DRS wide open. Can Rob get the move done on the McLaren? So they go through this braking zone side by side. That's a hard place to overtake, and Rob does have a spin. He manages to catch it quite well though, and losing the minimum time he probably could in that particular situation. I think that was just a race, and I didn't see anything too malicious or anything in that. I do just think that's a hard corner to complete and overtake on. So switch back to Scotty here, who is right behind Chubb. Maybe looking to get a move made to take second place in this race. DRS wide open down the start-finish straight. Will he have a go into turn 1? I don't know. He won't. He'll be happy just to stay behind and then have a better attempt up the hill. He is cruising very fast now. I can't see Chubb having much chance of defending this. However, he does take a decent line on the inside, forcing Scotty around the outside, leaving a minimal room that he can get away with there. However, I do think that was legal enough. As they come back down the hill here, the yellow flag out of the last corner there. Is that a Renault had a spin? It is. Lazo has had a spin in the Renault there. I don't know if that was with anyone else involved or just himself there, and that allows Lewis just to take that 17th place, running quite far down the grid, but is having quite a consistent race here. Lewis, I know it's one of his first races with no assists, and he is having quite a consistent race down the back of the grid there. We'll switch back to this battle at the front to see if Scotty can continue to attack Chubb here. Meanwhile, this is allowing Alex to close in behind a bit. The gap is now down to under 5 seconds. Or well, let's just jump back up above 5 seconds as I say that. Big lock off from Scotty. That will cost him a bit of time. However, Chubb does make a wee mistake at the next corner, which allows Scotty to once again close that gap up. The battle between these two continues around the middle section of this lap. They are very close now. Scotty has really got himself right up the back there. This is the closest he has been. Will he have a go down here? Chubb does defend the inside, possibly going to pit himself. I think he does, yeah. Chubb chooses the pit lane this lap, and that releases Scotty. This will be interesting to see if they will go for an undercut there, as the pit window is now open for anyone on the mediums going on a one-stop strategy, according to the graphics within the game. Lallis has also pit from the lead of this race and rejoined in 4th place, keeping himself just half a second ahead of XL Tin Can. That is a nicely timed pass from Lallis, who has managed to use the medium tyre, which will mean he will have a faster tyre over Tin Can for the remainder of this race if it lasts. We have a DNF for the other Renault of Lazo. I wasn't able to switch that in time to see anything, but I did see it was on the second straight up the hill. I'm not too sure what has happened to him or if anyone else was involved in that. We see Scotty come into the pits now. This will be the one which will be interesting to see, as he was right on the back of RPR Chubb. Can he complete a successful pass here within the pit stop strategy, or will he lose out to the Mercedes as they both come down the start finish straight? Now Johnny Stokes does get successfully passed. It will be interesting. Now here comes Scotty round the corner of the pit and Chubb round the outside. Chubb is just going to take that 6th place away from Scotty, and Scotty will stay just behind him. As we see now, the leader Lattis has passed James to retake a lead of this Grand Prix, with James now running 2nd. However, James is having a very strong race. Now he is running 2nd. He still has to pit, but he is running around in 2nd place in this race, having started at the back of the grid. So far with the 2 DNFs, William Mammoth and Lazo. I did not see William Mammoth's DNF. I'm not sure if it was in the pits or not. However, I did see Lazo's, and I was aware that it was on the 2nd straight we're about to watch James go on to. So I would say his has just been a spin or possibly contact with someone. We'll switch to Rhino over with XL Tin Can to see if he can get past James here. He's losing time to Lallis, so he does really need to complete this move on this bend, which he does do successfully, and that gives him that 2nd place. However, James will fight it back as they come down the hill with the DRS, as they go down to the hairpin at the bottom of the hill. Lock up from James may disallow Tin Can to keep it. It does, and that is that battle by the looks of it done, as Lazo will continue in 2nd place around the rest of this lap and open a small gap of breathing room there. Let's see who else is close. Scotty is still once again right on the back of Chubb. They have been having a battle right from lap 1 of this race. So they have. And it will be interesting to see. So we're just going to ride on board with Scotty for a lap or 2 here to see how this battle unfolds. we come around now just on lap at the start of lap 19, so we're riding on board with Scotty down here in 7th place. Still battling away with Chubb as they go up the hill here now, so a good chance to move for Scotty. Can he make the stick? Chubb does battle back well on the brakes. If he gets a small lock-up, Scotty will try to switch back and get a better exit. He will also have DRS, which should allow him just to out-drag Chubb down the straight. Here it does, and that is a good pass by Scotty as he takes 6th place in this race and goes chasing after Johnny Stokes here. We shall switch here to see where else is there a battle on the grid. There isn't really anybody else very close to each other. I feel like I'm focusing on this battle, but there isn't really many battles going on further around the grid. They are all quite spread out by a second or two. Let's see, we'll go to Alex here and see how he is doing. He does have a 4-second gap to this battle between Chubb, Scotty and Johnny going on further up the grid here. And he has having what I would call quite a lonely race at the minute, with 4 or 5 seconds ahead of him and 3 to 4 behind him of gap as he's going around on the medium tyre. So he is. Lattice now does have that commanding lead out front. We'll see actually the penalty count for people. Let's see. Lattice is 3. Exelton can has 9 seconds of penalties. Could that play into James, Avi or Johnny Stokes' hands come the end of this race if they can keep themselves clear of any further penalties? Or even Scotty and Chubb, who have none at the minute. It'll be interesting to see come the end of this race. So it will. Let's switch it back now to see the current gap between cars. Alex has just passed Abby, who's gone into the pits, and that puts him up into 7th place. Now we still have James Oliver right in 3rd. He has not actually made a stop yet in this race. So he has, let's see now, any other, yes we do finally have a battle here. Avias came out just in front of the Racing Point and the Ferrari there, battling for 9th, 10th and 11th here, and the last spot in the points. Let's just see if we go on board with McDuck's face here, just behind the Racing Point, which does look like it's going into the pits. Maybe started this race on mediums, giving that his 10th position at the last point spot, as James All does pit as well from 2nd in this, or 3rd sorry, in this race, and comes back out on the soft tyre for the last 14 laps in 7th place, and will go hunting down that pack of Alex, Chubb, Scotty and Johnny in front of him. Let's see here now if we ride on board with James through the last 2 corners of the lap. He is 4.7 seconds off 6th place. It'll be interesting to see how high he can climb, having started right down the back of the grid here. Oh, and Bruco Bronco is just DNF'd down at the bottom of turn 2. Have we got anyone coming down to that soon? We do. We have Scotty making his way down. There's the car off there. It looks like he's just had a massive spin that's put him on the wall on the outside there. Can't be sure. We do have a virtual safety car now, which will neutralise the race for a small period of time. Obviously, Lewis Williams take advantage of that in the AlphaTauri and dive into the pits there. We'll just see where this brings him back out on the track. He puts on the soft tyre to go to the end of this race. DRS been re-enabled and the green flag is back out on track. Where will this bring? This will keep Lewis in front of 16 and 17, running around in 14th place. Strong enough race, consistent enough race from him so far, even if he isn't very far up the grid. We shall see. Let's see who has had the biggest gains and losses so far. So, once again it is James still with the biggest gain of 13 out of the cars that have not DNF'd so far. It is Carl with the biggest loss, but only of 3 places down there in 17th on the grid. But we do have him now chasing down Lewis Williams. Oh, big lock up there, almost into the back of him, but he did avoid him quite well there. Now we shall switch back. We have Scotty has made it past Johnny Stokes and took the last podium position so far in this race. He's 12 seconds off Tin Can. Let's have a look at the pens. Where is that? He now is right on the brink of actually taking second off Tin Can on penalty. This could be an interesting finish to this race, because obviously Tin Can is on that hard tyre, which is more durable. However, Scotty is on the faster medium tyre, and it could become quite close at the end of the session here. Let's just see. Can Scotty close that gap, or will the battle with Johnny coming behind him slow him down and stop him doing that? Just see, here's Brad on board with Johnny Stokes. He does appear to be dropping off Scotty a bit now. I'm not sure if he's struggling or just having a bad lap here, but he is starting to drop off slightly. See who else. Is there anyone else? Oh, we do have James on very close to the back of Alex now. He has caught up to this pack here now. Let's see if he can make any sort of move as they go up the hill here out of turn 1. The lap car of Lewis Williams is actually helping Alex at the minute, keeping him just ahead there with having the DRS available. That is nice driving from Lewis, taking a nice wide line, putting himself off the track so as not to affect anyone else. Rob appears to have had a spin down in 14th here, and he just looks to stay out of the way of the leaders as they come through. I wonder, has he had any damage from that? He doesn't appear to have lost any front wing. I think he is okay there. As we switch back to this battle between James and Alex. James is now getting very close to Alex, who no longer has DRS from the lapped car in front. Will he go for a move into turn 1? No, he won't. There is a slight little touch there. Forces Alex just to miss the apex, but I don't think there was any damage occurred there. James has very little battery pack left. He has been pushing quite hard, but the DRS will just carry him past Alex as they go up towards the top of the hill. Chubb is now having a little bit of issues. I don't know if that's anything to do with tyre wear or battery power, but he does appear to be struggling a little bit for pace there, as James is chasing down this 5th position in the league, in the race, sorry. He gets very close to the back there. Chubb is going slow. I'm not too sure why. As James tries to go down the inside, that's a hard move to make, and he is just forced to back out of it there to save any contact between the pair. but he has massive overspeed as they come out. That Chubb just cuts him off, really. But they do avoid any contact, these players. They are going hard at it over that 5th place today. James will obviously have DRS. They come down the home straight. I don't know if there's much Chubb will be able to do to counter this as they come down towards turn 1. James decides to wait as they come up towards the hill, and he does get a better exit there, and he will, or should, complete this manoeuvre quite easily as they make their way up the hill. Let's take a wider line just to avoid any contact, and he does make that move, and that puts James from 20th on the grid start up into 5th place, which is 8 laps to finish this race. Can he chase down that 6-second gap to Scotty? It will be hard, but it will be interesting to see if he can do that. And that is Chubb and Alex also having a battle behind here now. So we right on board Alex and just look to the left to see Chubb's car. As Alex just runs it round the outside and does complete the manoeuvre, also passing Chubb, who drops down to 7th in this race. We just switch back to the battle up front, and then there's not really much going on. Lattis does have a 7-second lead over Tin Can. We'll just have a quick look at the penalties to see if anyone has gained any over the last laps or two. Lattis still only has 3 seconds, which will be enough to keep him well within 1st place. Axel Tin Can's 12 seconds are still on the brink of dropping him behind Scotty. So they are. Johnny, Stokes and James both have 6, which could play into the hands of Alex, who's just behind them with 0, or even Chubb, who only has 3. Then there's 3 guys with none. Erez has 12, which could play into the hands of Alajuliflia, who's in 12, or Alajufia. Fiducia was 15 seconds and Lewis has 14. They've obviously had some sort of 5-second penalty in the pit lane, I would say. As Fiducia actually just picks up another 3 and goes on to 18 seconds worth of penalties. Rob has 6, Malty has 9, and Carl has 6. So we switch back now just to see the gaps and nothing else. Oh, Abby has just gained a 3-second penalty there as well behind Chubb. I think that's his first 3 seconds. We'll just check that. Let's see. Yeah, that is Abby's first 3 seconds there. Let's see, is there any more battles developing? Johnny Stokes is still following Scotty. However, he is still half a second behind. I don't think any move will be made into this corner. We should stay on board. Now, with a Ferrari spin down at the exit of the pits, is it Mozzi? It is Mozzi, and he has lost some front wing there, and that's going to be an entire lap without any front wing from Mozzi around this lap, and that is not ideal. We shall see how much wing he still has on that Ferrari there once he gets going, if the camera angle switches for us. Yes, he is missing a lot of front wing on the right hand side of his car, sorry. Oh, he does appear just to be retiring from this race. And that is the 4th DNF, and we now have 16 cars left running on track. See, the next battle that's developing on track is really Chubb is still within a second of Alex. However, it is at 8/10, so it is quite a big gap still. There's not really much going on there at the minute, as they are just kind of in cruise mode, I feel, with 5 laps to go till the end of the race. Johnny Stokes is still pushing Scotty all the way for this last podium position. However, with his penalties, I do not think he'll be able to get past and clear Scotty by enough time to hold on to that. And then as we start lap 32 then, or we are, sorry, about to finish lap 32 is Lattice. He still has that 8-second lead now over Tin Can. So I think this win is starting to shape up to be all within Lattice's hands. Let's see, is there any battles kind of arising up for the last 3 laps of the race? Not overly. We still have Johnny just behind Scotty, however penalties kind of cancel that battle out. We have Alex behind, or sorry, Chum behind Alex, but penalties also kind of cancel that battle out. So there's not a lot I think is going to change between now and the end of this race. Anyway. Is closing in on Dutch Face down in 9th and 10th place for that 9th position on the grid. Right on board with Tommy here to see if he can get past Dutch Face here for the last position. Or sorry, not the last position, the 9th position. Tommy's currently running in the last points position. It'll be the last 2 positions of the points are currently being fought over here. We just have 2 laps left of this race now, with Gladys just starting lap 35 of the race. As Tommy does just make that manoeuvre there, but Dutch just will fight back for this 9th and 10th position. Tommy has the inside line into the next turn and will complete the pass. See him taking 9th place there. Now, let's see as we go round towards completing the last 2 laps what way we think the top 3 are going to shape up. We'll go watch Lattice here as he comes round about the last lap and a half of his race here in a commanding position out front with a 10-second gap. Let's look at the interval and the penalties for this race. So, Lattice will continue to take first regardless of penalties. He is far enough ahead. We will have Exo Tin Can on the podium. It's just a case of can Scotty close that gap enough to get on to that 2nd place, or will Tin Can keep it from him? We'll have to wait and see. From the on board of these drivers, we have what I think is going to be a podium of Lattice, then Tin Can, then Scotty. However, we will just have to see how that plays out over the last lap here as we go on board with Lattice to watch the last half of his final lap of the race. As he comes across the line, and Lannis takes the win in round 2, repeating what he did in round 1 here. As we switch to Tin Can coming around the last corner, he will take P2 and the second step on the podium. Now I think he has done enough to stay ahead of Scotty coming right in third on pens. We will switch to Scotty now to see if that is the case as they come round the last corner here. As Scotty cross line and does keep that third position, followed by James Arl taking 4th and Johnny Stokes taking 5th. Now with penalties, can Alex... Well, Johnny Stokes actually takes 4th above James, but then Alex jumps up to 4th with penalties. Next across the line is Abby, who in 8th, followed by Tommy coming round in 9th place. And Tommy will claim that 9th place today with Dutch Face. Oh, there's a crash there in the last corner. I'm not too sure what has happened, but Lewis has DNF'd. I'm not too sure what has happened there as Rob comes across the line in 15th. I did miss that crash at the end and I'm not too sure what has happened there, but it does appear to be a bit of a crash at the end there, as James Arl does take driver of the day. And we have on the podium there the Williams, the AlphaTauri and the Renault of the 3 winners. And as we just switch now to see our final leaderboard, we'll have a run through. We have Lattis taking a second win of the season and the full 25 points from the weekend. Then you have XL Tin Can in second and Scotty rounding out the podium in third. 4th is that guy Alex in the Williams, another strong showing from Williams, 1st and 4th. Then followed by the Mercedes pair of Chubb and Johnny in 5th and 6th. James All takes 7th, Abby in 8th, Tommy in 9th and Mick Dutchface in 10th, rounding out the top 10 and the point scorers. Coming in 11th place we have Erez, followed by Al Jafia in 12th. The GCO takes 13th with Carl in 14th. Rob does get classified in 15th with Lewis classified in 16th. Down in 17th, then the first of the cars to DNF was Matthew Perez, Brooker Bronco in 18th, Lazio in 19th and Woolly Mammoth in 20th. And that's it from us then to finish round 2 of GP1 Season 4 of Rapid Pixel Racing. We'll be back next week as we head to Silverstone at 8 PM next Monday.